Live from Cool Studios, this is koolNews Early Edition.
Good morning and welcome to koolNews Early Edition. President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. led the integration and energization of the National Grid Corp of the Philippines 500 kilovolt transmission line that can deliver 8,000 megawatts of electricity for power plants in Bataan and Zambales. This transmission project attests to the transformative power of collaboration between the public and the private sector to be able to attain a stable, reliable, and resilient power supply for the country, he said. Marcos added it will also help India's administration's thrust to transition to renewable energy to mitigate the impact of geopolitical uncertainties and, of course, the effects of climate change. The chief executive also ordered the Department of Energy and NGCP to finish other 70 other transmission line projects in the pipeline. I directed DOE and the NGCP to complete the over 70 transmission projects on time, particularly the Pantagas-Mindoro Interconnection Project and the Northern Luzon 230 kilovolt loop, he said. The transmission line took 7 years to complete and an approved cost of 20.94 billion pesos, but it will also connect with other projects such as the battery energy storage system in Limay and the Bataan to Cavite Interlink Bridge. It will also serve as a vital corridor for the 5,080 megawatts and the additional 2,554 megawatts of committed power generation projects in Bataan and Zambales. The project involves over 275.6 circuit kilometers of overhead lines supported by nearly 395 towers and 2 new substations. Tony Almenda, president of NGCP, assured power consumers in the Luzon grid of a secure and stabilized line that can handle power from more generation plants. This critical backstone provides a new high-voltage link capable of transmitting a total of 8,000 megawatts of power from power plants in Bataan and Zambales, Almenda said. The line is ready to serve and benefit the 59 million households and other power consumers in Luzon, he added. However, according to the Philippine Statistics Authority, the total number of households in the entire country reached only 26 million and may increase by around 3 million in next year's national survey. Nonetheless, the NGCP assured consumers that the energization of the new line should prelude power outages similar to those in February on Panay Island and in southern Luzon last April. Cynthia Alabanza, spokesperson for the NGCP, said that as long as power plants do not trip, the grid power has a boosted network of transmission lines to deliver electricity, which can avoid widespread outages. Vice President Sara Duterte's quip about appointing herself as the designated survivor during President Marcos' third State of the Nation address doesn't sit well with ranking leaders of the House of Representatives, who called it a tasteless joke and a sign that she could no longer be trusted. In separate statements on Friday, a day after Duterte made the call of the gov't remarks, Senator Deputy Floor Leader and Pampanga Representative Aurelio Gonzalez Jr., together with members of the so-called Young Gods Coalition, cheated Duterte for alarming the people with insinuations of a bombing during the president's annual SONA. This is the first time the top leaders of the 300-strong House of Representatives openly criticized Duterte, whose resignation from Mr. Marcos' cabinet as Education Secretary takes effect on July 19. We don't even know if we can still trust her now. Whatever happened to some decency or at least being forthright in public service, Gonzalez said. There is no such thing as designated survivor in the Philippines. Is she spending too much time watching Netflix? She better read our constitution. It's as clear as sunlight, he added. Gonzalez was referring to the Netflix series Designated Survivor about a minor U.S. cabinet official who became U.S. president after a deadly bombing killed other members of the U.S. line of succession during the State of the Union address. The Netflix series took off from a real position dating back to the Cold War in the 1950s, given to a member of the U.S. cabinet or a top government official in the line of the presidential succession. As the Vice President, Duterte is Mr. Marcos' direct successor in the constitutional line of succession, followed by the Senate President and the House Speaker. For former Senator Panfilo Lacson, however, the Constitution does mandate designated survivors but Congress still needs to pass legislation on presidential succession law. Citing Article 7 of the Constitution, which says Congress shall pass a law where it defines who the acting president will be in case the line of three successors has gone, Locson filed Senate Bill number 982 in August 2019 for the for the purpose, but has not passed. Also offended by the Vice President's Rafe Isabel Representative Ino Dai V. One Rider Party List Representative Roch Gutierrez, Davao Oriental Representative Chino Miguel Amario, La Union Representative Apollo Ortiga V, Lanao del Sur Representative Zia Alonto Adong, Angko Party List Representative Jill Bangalon, and Zambales Representative J. Kinho Hood all got them to Duterte for not being more prudent with her works. Excuse me. Controlling price inflation in the country remains the top national concern among Filipino adults, according to the latest Ulat ng Bayan survey released by Pulse Asia on Friday. The survey, conducted from June 17 to 24, found that 72% of Filipinos consider increases in the prices of basic commodities should be immediately addressed by the national administration. It is the only issue out of the 17 listed by the polling firm that is regarded as an urgent national concern by the majority of Filipinos. Excuse me. Increasing workers' pay came in second at 44%, while about a third slightly reducing poverty with 32%, and creating more jobs at 30% as their major concerns. The least national concern, on the other hand, was identifying as preparing to face any kind of terrorism with 2%, and changing the constitution at 1%. Concern over inflation is high among those in Mindanao at 77% and Luzon on Metro Manila at 74%. It is also relatively high in Metro Manila and the Visayas at 67% and 66% respectively. It is also high among socioeconomic classes, with Class E at 74%, Class D at 73%, and Class ABC at 64%. Of all urgent national concerns, inflation was also the only one cited by the majority of Filipinos at 57% as the issue they would like President Marcos to discuss or mention in his next State of the Nation address. This view is shared by bare to considerable majorities in all geographic areas, from 51% to 63%, as well as socioeconomic classes from 58 to 66%. Other issues Filipinos would like the President to discuss are mentioned during his third SONA, include the issues of improving the national economy at 36%, creating more jobs or livelihoods at 35%, and the actions to be taken to stop the incursion of other countries into Philippine territory in the West Philippine Sea at 31%. The least topics or issues the respondents want the President to address during the SONA are changing the Constitution at 5%, restoring the people's trust in the government and its officials at 12%, and restoring the unity among national officials at 30%. Meanwhile, 32% of Filipinos believe the national administration has fulfilled its promise to boost tourism in the country. Around a quarter of adults believe that the administration's promises to strengthen the country's infrastructure at 26% and defense national sovereignty at 24% have been fulfilled. Pulse Asia also asked the respondents to rate the administration's performance on selected national issues. According to the survey results, the Marcos administration scored majority approval ratings only on protecting the welfare of overseas Filipino workers at 70% and responding to the needs of areas affected by the calamities at 64%. Approval is the plurality sentiment toward the latter's handling issues, including defending national territorial integrity at 48% approval score, promoting peace and fighting criminality, both 47% approval score. Disapproval for the incumbent administration's handling of four issues becomes more notable from March to June 2024. These issues are controlling inflation at 76% disapproval score, reducing poverty at 51% disapproval score, increasing workers' pay and finding growth and corruption in government, both at 39% disapproval score. Pulse Asia interviewed 2,400 adult respondents nationwide and used a margin of error of plus or minus 2 percentage points at the 95% confidence level. Fugitive preacher Apollo Quiboloy is still in the Philippines. Interior Secretary Benhar Abalos said on Friday, a day after one of his co-accused was arrested in Davao City. Quiboloy is charged before the court with child abuse, sexual assault, trafficking, exploitation, and discrimination. There is always the possibility that they are already in other parts of the world, but from what we can see for now, they are just here. He is just here in the Philippines, Abalos said at the press briefing at Camp Premier in Quezon City. We will assure you this, the Philippines is getting smaller for them. With how the police and the military operate, where are you going to hide now? He said. He renewed his call for Quiboloy to surrender. Just surrender, he said, adding that if he believes he is innocent, this is the time to present your evidence and your lawyers. We have procedures in court. If ever you can appeal, he further told Quiboloy. Abalos also told one of Quiboloy's legal counsel's lawyer Ferdinand CEO, as well as former presidential spokesperson Harry Roque and Salvador Panalo, to advise Quiboloy to surrender instead of questioning the bounty from the private sector. Pauline Canada, one of his co-accused, was arrested at the Davao City subdivision on Thursday, following the announcement of a 1 million peso bounty for her. Canada was arrested in her home in Buhangin district at around 1 p.m. on Thursday, according to Israel Lito Toraron, Quiboloy's legal counsel. Abalos said the 1 million peso reward for Canada helped her in her arrest. In March this year, the Philippine National Police revoked Quiboloy's license to own and possess firearms based on Section 4G of the Comprehensive Firearms and Ammunition Regulation Act, or Republic Act No. 10591. Foreigners who were able to acquire Filipino citizenship, particularly overnight, pay as much as 300 pesos to obtain fraudulent birth certificates, Senator Sharon Win Gatchalian said on Friday, as he called for the suspension of the policy that allows late registration of birth. Gatchalian cited the modus operandi after the National Bureau of Investigation uncovered a scheme allegedly used by some 200 Chinese nationals to secure certificates of live birth from the Civil Registry of Santa Cruz, Davao del Sur province from 2018 to 2019. He said the NBI's discovery was very concerning as it suggested the existence of syndicates within the Philippine Statistics Authority and local civil registries. In effect, these are 200 Alice Guos, Gatchalian said, referring to the controversial mayor of Tarlac, whose identity and citizenship had become the central topic of an ongoing Senate inquiry on Philippine offshore gaming operators Pogos. We are urging the PSA to think about this and provide solutions. These problems started with the birth certificates being issued by the PSA, he told reporters at the press briefing via Zoom. One of the proposals was to give them administrative power over the local civil registry. That's one of the reforms we're looking at. Gatchalian said he had also heard of similar cases in the Lanao province in Mindanao. We have more than 1,700 local government units. So just imagine how many civil registry offices you can approach to get a birth certificate, he said. The senator previously presented several documents purportedly proving that Guo's real name was Guo Huangping, or that of a Chinese national who entered the Philippines in 2003 at age 13. Senator Rizal Tiveros, who has been leading the Senate inquiry on Pogos, earlier described Guo as a Chinese national masquerading as a Filipino citizen in order to give cover to Pogos and their criminal activities. On Friday, Hontiveros said the reported issuance of bogus birth certificates to a group of Chinese nationals in Davao del Sur was yet another sign of the country's brutal regulatory system. The Senate will not allow them to completely destroy our system. That's why we need to implement reforms in every department and attach agency in the government, Hontifer said in an interview with Radio DZWB. During a Senate hearing on Pogos on Wednesday, Gatchalian presented Guo's supposed school records from Grace Christian High School, which he said relied the mayor's claim that she was homeschooled at her father's farm in Bamban. Like Guo, he said the 200 Chinese citizens in Davao del Sur were able to secure birth certificates through the delayed registration of birth. Citing a source in the local Chinese community, the senator said the current price for obtaining a birth certificate and other government-issued identification cards was 300,000 pesos. Somebody is processing those documents. If you pay 300,000 pesos, you'll be given a birth certificate, a passport, and even a driver's license, he said. Once you have a birth certificate, it's easy to get other government-issued documents. Apparently, there's a modus for those who want to get a fake birth certificate. Senator Sharon Gatchalian on Friday said several billions of pesos had flowed into these 36 bank accounts of suspended Bamban Tarlac Mayor Alice Guo, who allegedly served as a conduit in financing the illegal Philippine offshore gaming operator Pogo in her town. These are large amounts. We are talking about billions of pesos in the span of 3 years that entered Alice Guo's bank accounts, Gatchalian said at the media briefing. If you read the income statements of the Guo-related family corporations, they either reported losses or the profits were just 100,000 pesos or 200,000 pesos. On its face value, this is a red flag. It's really puzzling where the money is coming from, he said. According to the senator, Guo's bank accounts were among those covered by the freeze order that the Court of Appeals issued on Wednesday, 2 days after the Anti-Money Laundering Council filed an ex parte petition. The appellate court also included the mayor's helicopter, 12 vehicles, and 12 real estate properties in the freeze order. The court order covered a total of 90 bank accounts in 40 financial institutions, 27 land titles, and other high-value personal properties of Guo and 6 other individuals and 6 companies. They could not justify the source of the money that came from outside the country. That's a classic case of money laundering, Gatchalian said. They used that money for their criminal activities and to bribe people. That's why it's important for us to detect the flow of money so that it will not be used for criminal operations in our country, he added. Gatchalian said that the senators had been pressuring the AMLC to pursue appropriate legal actions as part of the government crackdown on Pogo companies and their service providers. They finally filed a money laundering case against Guo, and then the next step is to file a petition in the CA to freeze the assets because the source was illegal, he said. In the case of Guo, Gatchalian said that the bulk of the funds were deposited to her bank accounts between 2019 and 2022. The fund transfers, he said, continued until her supposed role in the operations of Zone Huan Technology Incorporated came to light when the Pogo complex and Bamban was raided by the Presidential Anti-Organized Commission on March 13. Guo had vehemently denied that she was involved with Zone Huan, saying that she had already divested from the real estate company that leased the 7.9 hectare property to the Pogo company. But Gatchalian said the financial investigation conducted by the AMLC showed Guo's direct connections with Zhuang Huan and his predecessor, Hong Sheng Gaming Technology Incorporated. He noted that she had received big amounts of money at the time when the Pogo complex, which was then under Hong Sheng's management, was being built. The senator had earlier estimated that the sprawling online gaming hub, which had 36 multi-story buildings, luxury villas, a swimming pool, and underground tunnels, cost at least 6.1 billion pesos to build. The AMLC, he said, had provided him with a very detailed report on its investigation of the financial transactions of Guo, her family, and their business associates. A big portion of the money came from China and was sent to different individuals and corporations here in the Philippines, Gatchalian said. The funds originated from the accounts of numerous individuals and companies, according to him. For me, money laundering is one of the biggest crimes related to Pogos. We have become a money laundering hub because it's easy to bring dirty money here. the senator lamented. What happened in Bamban is again an eye-opener because we're looking into the shortcomings of the government agencies and other stakeholders in implementing our processes against money laundering, he said. Gatchalian suspected that some unscrupulous officials of private commercial banks had conspired with Guo and her alleged accomplices in facilitating the questionable entry of funds from China. He pointed out that the AMLC received reports about Guo's suspicious bank transactions only recently after the Pogo scandal broke out. If you look at the timeline, this started way back in 2019. I was looking at the transaction, billions of pesos entered accounts in a span of 3 years. Banks did not report it, Gatchalian said. Okay, whatever happened to the live stream? Okay, okay, that's interesting. If you look at the timeline, this started way back in 2019. Okay, I already got that. Okay, somebody from the branches of the banks could have connived. So I also commercial bank from posting the fees holding bank the regulatory if certain projects we continue the anti. The headline hope that means that means we will continue with the headlines later at around 8:30 approximately. So until then, we will now return to Hello Pilipinas shortly, and we will be right back.
Live from Cool Studios, this is koolNews Early Edition.
Welcome back to koolNews Early Edition. The Philippines will continue to push back against China's aggressive actions in the West Philippine Sea, Manila top security officials said, adding that the government has the option to file another Abalos case against China's violation of Philippine sovereignty. National Security Advisor at Guru or Eduardo Ano made these remarks at a forum on Friday, which marked the 8th anniversary of the Abalos ruling that invalidated Beijing's sweeping claims in the South China Sea. Yet since the July 12, 2016 ruling by Abalos Tribunal, China has steadily increased its presence in Philippine waters, resulting in coercion and harassment at the greater risk of sparking violent incidents, as Ano himself acknowledged. The closest that China came to instigating open conflict was the June 17 assault by its Coast Guard on Filipino troops during their resupply mission to Alice Guo Shoal. During that confrontation, China Coast Guard personnel wielded bolos, knives, and other weapons, threatening Filipino troops. They also rammed out their rubber boats against those of the Philippine Navy, which led to one Navy man losing his right thumb. Ano, a former chief of the Armed Forces of the Philippines, said, "We will continue to stand our ground and push back against coercion, interference, malign influence, and other tactics that seek to jeopardize our security and stability. He said the April ruling is not and will never be a mere piece of paper, referring to how former President Rodrigo Duterte described the April Award in 2021. Ano at that time was Duterte's Interior Secretary. He said filing another April case against China remained an option for the government. It will depend, of course, on the decision of the President. All of that is included in the discussion, Ano said. Former Supreme Senior Senate Associate Justice Antonio Carpio agreed that the government should file new aberration cases against China. Beijing is actually in dread of the Philippines filing another aberration because they could not prove their expensive claims in the South China Sea, Carpio said in the same forum. Meanwhile, Honduras Senator Risa Honduras said the country should commemorate July 12 of every year as well West Philippine Sea Victory Day, not only to celebrate Manila's landmark Abril case against Beijing, but also to remind the world of the Filipinos' ability to fight and push back with pride and dignity. The 2016 victory showed the world that a small country like the Philippines can legally, peacefully, and democratically stand up to a big already country like China, Honduras said in a statement. She said Beijing's continued threats and intimidations as response to the ruling are also a reminder to the world that all those who believe in the international rules-based order must actively come together to safeguard peace and security across the globe. Honduras had earlier filed Senate Resolution number 674, which proposed to declare July 12 as WBS Victory Day. This is also an opportune time to show our biggest aggressor, China, that the Philippines will stand as one in the fight for our sovereignty, she said. Meanwhile, residents of Palawan province took the initiative of celebrating WBS Victory Day. The celebration, led by the newly formed local non-governmental organization Luang West Philippine Sea, was highlighted by Governor Victorino Dennis Sogaretz signing of Provincial Ordinance number 3498 at the Provincial Capital Convention Center, officially declaring July 12 as West Philippine Sea Victory Day in the province. Under President Marcos' administration, the national government has shifted to a more assessor approach, essentially reviving former President Ninoy Aquino's policy, Sogaretz said. Consular Grace Philip Alexis Abaida of Gatchalian Town said that with the creation of the SWPS, the national government would have an additional support group for this cause. For provisional board member President Isabella, this declaration of victory is not the end, but rather the beginning, a wake-up call for everyone. In Zambales, fishermen in Subic Town staged a full-vehicle protest carrying life-size replicas of the cover page of the April ruling to commemorate the anniversary of the victory. But fisherman Joe Ferre lamented that the April ruling remains meaningless as long as they are barred from entering the lagoon of Shoal, also known as Panadak Shoal or Badjo de Masilog, in the West Philippine Sea. It's been a long time since the decision was made, but nothing has changed. The situation is still the same, Ella told the Inquirer. Leonardo Garazma, president of the New Masilog Fishermen Association, Filipino fishermen continue to suffer at the hands of this CCG. We are still demanding that China respect our rights in the West Philippine Sea, especially in Scarborough Shoal, which served as our traditional fishing ground for decades, Garazma said. And China's latest accusation that the grounding of the PRPCR Marine in 1999 caused damage and pollution at Scarborough Shoal is just part of the disinformation campaign waged by Beijing in its maritime dispute with Manila. This was how an official of the Department of Foreign Affairs dismissed the study recently released by the Chinese Ministry of Natural Resources. I think this is all part of the disinformation process that China has always projected, Foreign Undersecretary Maria Teresa Lazaro said on Friday. I think there's also many narratives that can come after that, and we just have to be ready. I guess this is something we expect because of the way they move, Lazaro said at a forum held by the think tank Strat-based ADR Institute to mark the 8th anniversary of the 2016 arbitral ruling that voided China's sweeping claims in the South China Sea, which Beijing refused to recognize. At the same forum, retired Supreme Court Senior Associate Justice Antonio Carpio said while the state of the World War II vessel VP Sara Mare may have indeed caused marine pollution, it all came to this because of Beijing's conduct in the West Philippine Sea, the parts of the South China Sea covered by the country's exclusive economic zone. If China will allow us to repair the ship, stop harassing our supply ships to repair the VP Sara Mare, then there will be no pollution at all, Carpio said. What is happening now in Shoal with respect to the VP Sara Mare that is eminently rusting doesn't compare at all to what China did in destroying 7 atoll reefs to build the artificial islands. Totally incomparable. The Abalos Award said China caused irreparable harm to the coral reef system in this parties, Carpio stressed. According to a 2022 study by the Asia Maritime Transparency Initiative (MT), China's reclamation, dredging, fishing, and giant clam harvesting activities have damaged a total of about 90 square meters or 4,648 acres of coral reefs. Also at the trust-based event, the Philippines reached fresh assurance of support from the United States, Australia, and France on the Abalos ruling, which China had refused to recognize. Australian Ambassador He Keong-yu underscored the importance of a collective and multilateral approach to resolving the maritime conflict. China is pleased to be enhancing our civil maritime cooperation with the Philippines through our newly signed MOU, Memorandum of Understanding, including enhanced cooperation with the Australian Border Force and the Philippine Coast Guard, Yu said. As the Australian ambassador to the Philippines, I can tell you this, you can count on Australia, Yu said. For U.S. Ambassador Mary Kay Carson, the 2016 ruling was not just a significant victory for the Philippines, but for the international community. It memorized vast maritime areas where all nations enjoy freedom of navigation and overflight under international law, providing the legal foundation for trade, investment, and economic activity to thrive in the Indo-Pacific region, Carson said. She also reaffirmed that Washington's security alliance with Manila remain ironclad and on hyperdrive. Meanwhile, French Ambassador Marie Fontanelle said the first draft of a visiting forces agreement between her country and the Philippines will soon be released. The negotiators did not commit to any specific timing, but maybe by September France will be in a position to issue the first draft and possibly start the discussions, she said. The partnership between France and the Philippines, two maritime blue nations of the Pacific region who share the values of democracy, the rule of law, who promote multilateralism and international law, is stronger and stronger, and you can count on us, Fontanelle said. And now for the international headlines. A landslide swept 2 passenger buses carrying more than 50 people into a swollen river in central Nepal early Friday, while continuous rain and more landslides were making rescue efforts difficult. Three survivors swam to safety, but rescuers by late morning had not found any trace of their buses, which likely were submerged and swept downstream in the Trisuli River. Nepal's rivers generally are fast-flowing due to the mountainous terrain. Heavy monsoon downpours in the past few days have swollen the waterways and turned their waters smoky brown, making it even more difficult to see the wreckage. Home Minister Rabi Lami Hench told Parliament that 51 passengers were missing and more than 500 rescue personnel were assigned to the search operation. Elsewhere in the country, 70 people have died and 3 more people were injured due to landslides in their districts in the past 24 hours, he said. The buses were on the key highway connecting the capital to southern parts of Nepal when they were swept away around 3 a.m. near Simatal, about 120 kilometers 75 miles west of Kathmandu. More landslides blocked roads to the area. In several places, Government Administrator Kehema Nanada Bihosal said. Additional rescuers and security forces were sent to help with the rescue efforts. Police and army personnel were searching using rubber ribs. Divers with gear were also dispatched, according to the Chitwan District Police. The 3 survivors were being treated in the hospital, Bihosal said, adding that they reportedly jumped out of the bus and swam to the banks, where locals found them and took them to a nearby hospital. A third bus was hit by another landslide on Friday morning a short distance away from on the same highway. Tuscal said the gyro was killed, but it was not clear if there were any other casualties. Nepal's Prime Minister Pushback Dahal said he was saddened by the news and expressed concern over recent flooding and landslides. He added that several government agencies were searching for the missing in a post on the social media platform X. On Thursday night, a landslide buried a hut and killed a family of 7 near the resort town of Pokhara. The family were asleep when the landslide crushed their hut and damaged 3 more houses nearby. Monsoon season brings heavy rains to Nepal from June to September, often triggering landslides in the mountainous Himalayan country. Meanwhile, the government has also imposed a ban on passenger buses traveling at night in the areas where weather warnings have been issued, according to the Home Ministry. And finally, we will get into koolWeather in just a bit. Let me just open YouTube and search our weather service. Alright, so while we wait for koolWeather, I will just go ahead and prepare the new songs that I will be playing for animating later. So I will keep my eyes on that one. Where's it? Whoops. Okay, release radar, there you go. Okay, I will be using my, you know it, I will be using the, thing here, there it is. Now I'll go get the songs ready now for later. Alright, in the meantime, if the koolWeather is ready, we will now get into the koolWeather, brought to you by the PAGASA weather specialist, Grace Castañeda.
Magandang umaga sa ating lahat. Ngayon ay July 13, 2024 at narito ang update ukol sa magiging lagay ng panahon sa susunod na 24 oras. Patuloy pa rin umiiral ang southwest monsoon o habagat dito sa kanlurang bahagi ng Southern Luzon, Visayas at Mindanao, kung saan ngayong araw ay magdadala pa rin ito ng mga malalakas na pagulan, lalong-lalo na yan dito sa may kanlurang bahagi ng Visayas at Mindanao. So pag-iingat po para sa ating mga kababayan dyan sa posibilidad ng mga pagbaha at pagguho ng lupa. At sa kasalukuyan po, wala tayong minomonitor or namamataan pa na sama ng panahon na maaaring makaapekto dito sa ating bansa. Ngunit meron po tayong minomonitor ng mga cloud clusters. Dito yan sa may kanlurang bahagi ng Palawan sa labas ng ating area of responsibility. Maging dito rin sa may silangan ng Mindanao sa labas din po ng ating area of responsibility, kung saan yung mga kaulapan po na ito ay continuous monitoring tayo sa posibilidad na ito ay magkaroon ng sirkulasyon at maging isang low pressure area sa mga susunod na araw. So patuloy po tayong magantabay sa mga updates na ipapalabas ng PAGASA. At para nga sa maging lagay ng panahon ngayong araw ng Sabado, maulap na kalangitan at mga kalat-kalat na pagulan ang mararanasan dito sa bahagi ng Occidental Mindoro at Palawan, dulot po yan ng habagat. Samantala dito naman sa Metro Manila maging sa nalalabing bahagi pa ng Luzon, ngayong araw ay magiging bahagyang maulap hanggang sa maulap yung ating kalangitan. Sa pagsapit po ng hapon at gabi ay mataas pa rin yung tsansa ng mga biglaang pagulan, pagkidlat at pagkulog, lalong-lalo na po yan dito sa may kanlurang bahagi ng Luzon, kasama na po dyan ang Metro Manila. So kapag po tayo ilalabas, wag pa rin po natin kalilimutan yung mga pananggalang natin dito sa mga biglaang pag-ulan na ito. Agwat ang temperatura sa Metro Manila ay mula 26 to 33 degrees Celsius. Samantala sa bahagi naman ng Visayas at Mindanao maging sa bahagi din po ng Palawan ay patuloy pa rin po tayong makakaranas ng mga malalakas na pagulan, lalong-lalo na po yan dito sa Zamboanga Peninsula, Barm, Sultan Kudarat, maging sa bahagi din ng Misamis Occidental at Lanao del Norte, dulot pa rin po yan ng habagat. Samantala yung nalalabing bahagi din po ng Mindanao, maging itong Western Visayas at Central Visayas at yung buong bahagi din ng Palawan ngayong araw ay patuloy ding makakaranas ng mga kalat-kalat na pagulan, pagkilat at pagulog, dulot pa rin po ng southwest monsoon. So muli po, pag-iingat para sa ating mga kababayan dun sa banta ng mga pagbaha at pagguho ng lupa. Samantala dito naman sa area ng Eastern Visayas ay meron pa rin tayong posibilidad ng mga isolated ng mga pagulan, dulot naman yan ng mga localized thunderstorms. Agwat ang temperatura sa Cebu ay mula 26 to 30 degrees Celsius at sa Davao naman ay 24 to 32 degrees Celsius. Samantala, para naman sa lagay ng dagat baybayin ng ating bansa, wala po tayong nakataas na gale warning, kaya malayang makakapalaot yung mga kababayan nating mga isda, pati na rin yung may mga maliliit na sasakyang pandagat. Ngunit iba yung pag-iingat pa rin po para sa mga maglalayag dito sa may kanlurang bahagi ng Southern Luzon, Visayas at Mindanao, kung saan magiging katamtaman hanggang sa maalod pa rin yung lagay ng ating karagatan. At dito sa Metro Manila, ang araw ay sisikat mamayang 5:34 ng umaga at lulubog mamayang 6:29 ng hapon. Patuloy po tayo magantabay sa updates na ipapalabas ng PAGASA at para sa mas kompletong impormasyon, bisitahin ang aming website pagasa.dost.gov.ph. At yan po muna ang latest dito sa Weather Forecasting Center ng PAGASA. Grace Castañeda, magandang umaga po.
And that is it for koolNews Early Edition for today. As always, if you have any questions, I'm sorry, not questions. If you have any news tip you want to send us or feedback, you can send the email to us at tvh.philippines.news@gmail.com. And we will be back with more headlines later with koolNews at noon, koolNews at 4, 6, and koolNews Prime Time for an hour at 9 before Asper's Coffee. Until then, that concludes the koolNews Early Edition. I am Asper, and now back to Pilipinas.